You're not here.
We're not there. The car exploded. Come get the girls.
The car exploded?
Parts of the car exploded itself, yes. Come get the girls.
I'm not the chauffeur. I'm the grandfather. Where are you?
Asteroid City.
Hi there! Welcome to my YouTube channel, Watch by Ashley. If you're new, this is where we take a look at some of the new releases on streaming and video on demand and discuss whether or not they're worth the watch. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest release by Wes Anderson, and that is Asteroid City. So you might be familiar with Wes Anderson's previous works, like The Grand Budapest Hotel, which is his most critically acclaimed film. Personally, my favorite Wes Anderson film would definitely be Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I really did enjoy The French Dispatch, which came out in 2021. So I was really looking forward to this movie because Wes Anderson has a very distinct style when it comes to his direction and the way he writes his stories. His films tend to be very stimulating in the way that he frames his subjects in his movies. And then you have the color schemes that he uses sometimes are just so impressive, especially with The Grand Budapest Hotel. Like, that was one thing that really stuck out. And so he kind of created the same here. This was definitely on my most anticipated films for 2023. Although I do find that this year's been a bit slower in terms of very interesting releases, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what other films you're looking forward to for 2023. Getting back to the film, it was released on May 23rd, 2023 at the Cannes Film Festival. It had a budget of $25 million. The box office performance has been about $41 million. It's had a selective theatrical release, so it still might be in theaters in your town if you want to catch it there, but it's available on video on demand currently. So high level in terms of the story, Asteroid City is almost like a story within a story, because when we start the film, we're kind of being told by a narrator that we're watching the production of a play just being recorded. And so that play is Asteroid City, which is a fictional city that's based in like a desert town where a meteor or an asteroid fell, and they've kind of developed around it. And when we start the production, we're focusing on the story of a father of four. He is going to Asteroid City with his son and his 3 daughters because the son has been entered into a junior science competition for a scholarship. Where things kind of go amiss is when we find out that the father hasn't shared with the children that their mother passed away 3 weeks prior. And so we're dealing with the theme of like grief and how others deal with it. That's kind of what they really explore here. I don't want to go too deep into the story in case you want to watch the film, so I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's where I'll leave it high level in terms of the plot. I will be doing my review to let you know kind of my ratings. So starting off at a neutral number like 5, I'm going to go into what really worked for the film, and then I'm going to go into what didn't work for the film and see where we land in terms of a rating. So let's get into it. First thing I want to say, as I mentioned, the visuals are stunning for this movie. It's definitely a pro because there's just the contrast between the orange of the sand and the desert and the blues and the turquoises that they use here. Like, I thought it was such a really good marrying of the pair. Like, it's visually very stunning. Like, the cinematography and the direction, fantastic. I really did think that was a very strong point of the movie. It's just a very beautiful movie for sure. Another pro is definitely the cast. So there are a lot of heavy hitters in this movie. So just to name a few of the famous faces you'll see in this movie, we have Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrien Brody, Liev Schreiber, Hawke, Steve Carell, Matt Dillon, Willem Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Tony Revolori, and Jeff Goldblum. Just to name a few of the familiar faces you'll see in the movie. There are some more actors that are there that I didn't get a chance to list, but it's a lot of famous faces in this movie for sure. Another thing that I would say definitely works very well as a pro for this movie is the dialogue. There are some very witty lines exchanged between the characters here, and I did enjoy that aspect of it. Like, there's a scene where the father, his car breaks down as they approach Asteroid City, and just his back and forth with the mechanic in terms of what's wrong with his vehicle I thought was very clever.
I've seen this combination of symptoms twice before in the 52 estate model. In one case, it was a quick fix of a 75-cent part. In the other case, it was a difficult, costly, time-consuming disassembly and remanteling of the entire drivetrain and lubrication mechanism, which didn't work.
So in terms of weaknesses, I have to say the pacing is atrocious for the film. Progression is very slow, and then I felt like it kind of ended abruptly or wrapped itself up in a very quick manner that just doesn't fit. So that I thought was a major con because it is a bit of a snooze fest for a lot of the movie, and then it's just like, oh, we're wrapping it up. Another con is it just lacks substance. There's a lot of threads for these characters and all these big actors that are in the film, but there just isn't a lot of character development. Like, it doesn't cohesively mesh to tell a very strong story. And I thought that was very unfortunate because you have these great stars that you want to see and they're not really given a lot to work with. And that kind of bleeds into the next con, which is the performances from the actors. I really did feel like it was kind of phoned in. Like, I didn't feel like these actors really gave you anything, to be honest with you. It wasn't a moving performance by anybody. When I finished the film, I wasn't left thinking, oh wow, that was a stellar performance by Scarlett Johansson. That wasn't the case at all. Tom Hanks didn't really leave me feeling like America's Dad. Like, that wasn't the vibe I got. You have Steve Carell there. It's kind of just like lip service almost. Like, here are all the celebrities that you love, but we're not going to really make them do anything of consequence or impact. Another con for the film is definitely the fact that they introduce like a supernatural presence in the play, The Asteroid City, but the story isn't really expanded upon. And again, that goes kind of to that wrapping it up very quickly. Like, they just left a lot of things open in a strange way. And it felt like even if you're watching the play Asteroid City, you'd be left wondering like what really was the point of the story. And I just thought that was a very strange choice to introduce this element and then not really expand too much onto it. Like, I know it wasn't necessarily the point, but I thought that the supernatural presence that they introduced was the most interesting part of the story, unfortunately, unfortunately, because they didn't do anything with it. This does leave the movie with a rating of 4 out of 10. Which does feel a little harsh because like Wes Anderson isn't like a new director or screenwriter. Like, he's very seasoned, but this is just not his best showing. I have to say, if I was to describe this movie in one word, it would be convoluted.
I still don't understand the play.
Doesn't matter. Just keep telling the story.
Having the dual storylines and, like I said, so many characters without any character development, the movie just doesn't give you anything to be emotionally invested in, which is such a shame because it is so beautiful. It is a stunning movie, but it's just a very boring movie. It's a very confusing movie because it just goes all over the place. I know that you can really try to draw out that theme of despair and how everyone is dealing with their grief, but I found that to be a bit weak. I just feel like with this movie, the studio and Wes Anderson really banked on the fact that they had an ensemble cast. And I think studios are kind of suffering from this idea that if you put an ensemble cast like in Babylon and Amsterdam, you're gonna get people out in the theaters, and that's not necessarily the case. So, is it worth the watch? The answer is clearly no. It's not a movie I would recommend for everybody. I think you have to have an open mind for this movie and to really be a fan of Wes Anderson's previous works. It is kind of brutal at points. Like I said, it is pretty oddly paced and the story is a bit hard to follow. But that's all I have for you today in terms of Asteroid City. Please let me know in the comments below, are you a Wes Anderson fan? Do you have a particular film that is your favorite? I'd love to know in the comments below. Also, like, are you tired of these ensemble casted films? Like, do you think this is the end of them? Because I'm finding that they're becoming less and less popular and not performing as well at the box office. So, something to think about, I guess. But like I said, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the content here, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. It will definitely help me grow in the channel, and also it'll help someone else in terms of catching the video, and that would be great. So, until next time, take care, and I'll see you later. Bye!
I still love you,
Not like before.
but not like before.